Mhm.
Alrighty, so just to reiterate, we are using this interview to be put into our archives regarding non-medical essential workers. And then just again, do you consent to being interviewed?
Yep.
Do you consent to being recorded, both video and audio?
Yes.
Okay, then we can get rolling. Carl, would you like to start?
Sure. So, could you state your name and your profession?
Michael Leblanc, and I'm a plumber.
All right. So, what's working like a plumber like right now? Like, how has it changed?
So, realistically, how it's changed so far is you really can't do a lot of service calls now. You can really only do like residential stuff right now, just because people don't want you in your house, like without a mask and gloves and all that stuff. So a lot of people aren't really comfortable with you going inside their house at the moment. But other than that, it's really just kind of the same. Nothing's really changed.
So does it feel the same?
Yeah. Oh yeah. For me, it feels the same. Yeah. Hasn't changed too much.
All right. And then you said, so it doesn't really affect like how much work you're doing or how much money you're making or anything?
Well, so a lot of the jobs I do are a lot of renovations and new constructions right now. So for me, it doesn't really affect my side of plumbing right now. So my work is still going, and I can still work full time.
That's all right. So that's good at least. So, and then when you're not at work, are you doing anything differently, like because you're working outside and I'm assuming in contact with people?
No, I'm really just quarantining myself after work, just staying home, not doing anything.
How's that?
Hmm?
How is that like?
Boring. I want out. Feel trapped.
I think we all do right now.
Yep. Yeah.
But other than being bored, does anything feel different, or are you doing all right?
I've been doing all right. I mean, I've been going to the grocery store, stuff like that, just staying away from friends and not immediate family.
And how is that, having to stay away from people?
Kind of stinks because, you get bored all the time and don't really know what else to do besides watch TV and play video games.
Yeah, I think really feels like it's just dragging on at this point.
Yeah. You don't know if it's going to continue or if it's going to actually stop when they say it's going to stop.
Yeah, and it's scary how they keep pushing it back.
Oh, yeah.
But you don't seem to be too nervous about this whole thing, though, is it?
No, I'm not too concerned about it. The only thing I'm really concerned about is just giving it to somebody else.
Yeah, and so, sorry, Ash, were you?
Oh, are you concerned for your dad through this, since you work with him and everything, and he's older-ish?
For me, not really, because he's wants to go out to work too. He doesn't want to stay home. He doesn't seem too concerned about it. So, and like he's always said, he's like, oh, well, plumbers, smelling all the glue and primer and all that stuff, so we're probably immune to it anyway, so our bodies can just fight it off. So, I'm not too worried about him getting it because it's just usually me and him on job sites. Usually we don't work with anybody else right now. So a lot of electricians and all that come in by themselves and they don't work with us. So it's nothing too crazy for me.
So that's not normal. That's something that's different.
That is something that is different. Yep.
And do you miss them at all? Miss working around them?
Sometimes, yeah, because it's another person you can be in conversation with, and usually work with him. So it's like I'm just talking to the same person.
Yeah, and do you live with him as well?
I do. Yep.
So it's sort of the same people.
It's sort of the same people, exactly. My sister's the only different person.
Does that kind of affect your relationship with your dad? Like, just constantly just him?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so you're not getting sick of him at this point?
I hide in my room.
Understandable.
I have nowhere else to go. I even drive my truck.
Sometimes, I don't even know, this was a couple of weeks ago, we were talking and you were explaining that I think it was like union guys were hanging around sometimes at sites to wait for you and your dad coming. Does that still happen? Or I could have misunderstood that.
No, we don't usually do anything with the union. Sometimes it'll be like the general contractors, the people who lead the jobs. Sometimes they wait for us. If they get there at just exactly like at 7 or 7:30 or something, they usually wait for us and then we meet them at the job site. That still happens every now and then, though.
Trying to think. Just to change subjects then, I mean, you did say you still go to the grocery store. Do you want to talk about what it's like going to the grocery store?
The grocery store. Don't get me started on the grocery store. I literally had one guy yell at me at the grocery store because I thought he was leaving the checkout and he turned back around into the checkout lane and he literally turned around and was like, "Excuse me." I'm like, "Sorry, sir." I'm like, if you're this concerned, you should just order stuff online and wait for it to get delivered to your house. Doing a lot of one-way aisles at the grocery store now. It's very different, very frustrating for me because I forget that it's only one-way aisles, and then I get yelled at I went down the wrong way.
Okay, that sounds frustrating. Are you kind of relieved that life hasn't really changed for you work-wise?
Yes, because I feel like if I actually wasn't going to work every day, I literally would be losing my mind right now. Now I have to do plumbing school on this Zoom program.
What's that like, doing plumbing school over Zoom?
Well, so my teacher couldn't figure out how to get onto Zoom, so I only was on my Zoom phone call for like 5 minutes, and then I was off.
Not everybody's as technology savvy as
No,
others.
I don't care. I got a class for it, so I'm okay with it.
I think it's surprising how little your life seems to have changed.
Yeah.
Like, what has the biggest change been for you, I guess?
The biggest change for me, honestly, is just been staying home for such a long period of time. That's like the only thing that has changed in my life. Nothing else really has changed for me.
Have your relationships changed?
Now it's kind of difficult staying away from your significant other for a long period of time and not being able to see them.
That's really tough that you can't see your significant other, and I'm sorry.
Thank you.
From
Means a lot.
personal experience, I don't understand that, but I'm trying to. I find it very interesting that your life hasn't really changed. I mean, I guess the biggest change is that you don't leave your house after work.
That's pretty much what my life is right now.
And so, what's that done for you, mentally? How's that affecting you?
I'm going a little crazy, not leaving my house after work, and not being able to go to bars or restaurants or anything like that. But when I wake up the next day, it just refreshes, and my mind kind of gets worked back into just work, so I don't get too crazy about anything else that's going on at the moment. I'm surprised. I thought I was going to go crazy, but it hasn't happened yet.
Has anyone around you sort of started to go kind of?
No, everybody, because obviously I work with my dad, so we work all the time, and my sister still works too, so everybody's kind of same thing, just not being able to go out after work, that's all. So nothing's really changed in our everyday life.
And what's the first thing you're going to do once things get back to normal, you think?
Probably going to go see my girlfriend. And then go to bars and restaurants after that.
I think we're coming back again to the same point, but I'm very surprised that your life hasn't changed this much. Did you expect it to change more?
I did think it was going to change more, but it was just working was probably the one thing that's just keeping me sane, honestly. And if I wasn't working, yeah, I'd be going crazy right now. So it's kind of strange.
You mentioned that your sister's still working. Are you concerned that maybe she'll bring it home?
I'm not, just because she works at a vet clinic and they're being very cautious about it. so I'm not too worried about her getting it there.
And something, this is kind of off topic, I guess, but going back to something you said earlier, so you said that a lot of plumbers, people only want plumbers coming in if they're wearing masks and gloves. Have you been doing that, or?
I personally have not been wearing the mask and gloves all the time, but only when I go on like service calls and I'm around other people, I will wear them. But if it's just my dad and I being around each other, I'm not really going to wear it because we're just going home together anyways. So I'm not going to stop him from giving it to somebody else that way. So
Yeah.
I'm not too concerned about it.
And do you wear your masks and your gloves to the grocery store as well when you go there?
Oh, I do not do that, no.
Okay, do you get weird looks from people? I know I've heard other people talk about they kind of look down on people who aren't wearing those type of things.
I haven't noticed anything, but I also try not to look at other people in the grocery store. I just try to get in and out. But no one's like yelled at me about it or given me any looks, I don't think. So I think no.
Do you even like try to keep some distance from people still?
Yes, exactly. Yep. Even if I see people in there, I still try and stay away from them.
Okay, this is one thing that I don't think I've heard anybody in our interviews touch upon. Could you describe the type of products that are in high demand at the grocery store so future peoples can understand?
So I've been going to the same grocery store for like the whole entire time. And I swear, every single time I go in, there's something else that is not on the shelf. But there's a whole stock of what I didn't see before. Like the last time I went in, the whole entire produce section was pretty much just wiped out. Like no string beans, no vegetables, no nothing. Everybody took all those. Chicken was all gone. Everything in the dairy aisle was pretty much gone. It's like every day, one day it was toilet paper, paper towels, and now those are fully stocked again. Now everybody wants vegetables. I don't understand why people are just stocking up on everything.
It sounds kind of frustrating that people are stocking up on random things then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, have you stocked up on anything, or?
I really haven't stocked up on too much. I still go to liquor store on a regular basis. I usually just get whatever I need for dinner or like lunch the next day or something like that. I don't really stock up on anything because I don't fear they're going to close down the grocery stores.
Okay. Trying to think what else. People keep talking about this approach. This is kind of getting into political. It's more just your opinion, really, about how the president's handling this situation and trying to get people back out and about. Do you have any thoughts about if that should occur at this point?
No, I mean, I really don't really pay attention to what he's been saying. I haven't really been on TV in a long time. I've just been on streaming, so I haven't seen any of the breaking news from Governor Baker or Trump or anything like that. So I got nothing to say on that part.
Okay. Perfectly fine. Do you have any advice for people of the future who might be experiencing a similar pandemic?
My advice would just be the same thing. Just wear your mask, your gloves, stay 6 feet away. It's all a personal preference on what people are gonna do with this whole virus thing, anyways. So I can't really advise much more than that, obviously.
Okay, and then are there any certain key takeaways that you would want people of the future to know about what's going on now, aside from wear your masks, etc.?
Stop raiding the grocery store. Leave the groceries for me. Jeez. I don't know.
Okay. I've ran out of what I think I can ask.
Yeah, I think that about covers what we're going to cover. It's really interesting, I think, because your job lets you sort of keep some distance. You have a very different perspective. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, I'm going to stop recording this now.